Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So before we get into this video, I just want to say rest in peace George Floyd. It is such a sad tragedy and I hope we can all come together during this time. Let's show compassion, empathy, kindness, and love for one another. Now today we are going to discuss the new NBA playoff format. The NBA is back! So what the plan is 22 teams will be invited to Orlando. 9 from the East, which includes all the playoff teams already, plus the Wizards, and 13 from the West, which only excludes the Warriors and the Timberwolves. Basically, any team that already had a playoff spot or was within 6 games of a playoff spot was invited back. July 31st, people, let's get hyped. This is so exciting. I know we've all missed the NBA. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna play 8 regular season games. And if the 8th and 9th spot are within 4 games of each other, then they'll have another play-in tournament for the 8th spot. And basically what that means is the 8th seed will have a double elimination and the 9th seed will have a single elimination. In other words, if the 8th and 9th seed play, and the 8th seed loses the first game, then it's okay because they have to lose 2 games to get knocked out. As long as they win one of the 2 games, they're in. Whereas oppositely, for the 9th seed, if they lose any of the games, they're out. They have to win both games to get that 8th seed spot. I mean, how exciting is this? We could have Ja versus Zion competing for the 8th seed. Let's also not sleep on the Spurs, people. The Spurs are known for making the playoffs. Come on. They're a well-run franchise. They have pop. And I think they might be able to sneak in, so don't count them out. Don't sleep on them. But there are so many possibilities. Could be Memphis, we could see Zion, we could see the Blazers. The Blazers are back and healthy. Now the Nurkic should be back, and Zach Collins should be back as well. So it's really gonna be a fight to the finish for the 8th seed. That'll be really interesting. And that's just in the West. You also got the East too. And not even just fighting for the 8th seed and knocking somebody out. It could be that the person who's in the 6th seed could knock somebody out of the 4th seed. Now the only thing that disadvantages some of the higher seeds is that there's no real home court advantage at this point. One thing that I think I saw online is that they might have the jump ball just go immediately to the higher seed as an option. We'll see, but I know any of us will just take anything at this point. We just want to see the NBA. We just want to see basketball. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the teams. The Brooklyn Nets, people have been talking about it for a while. I mean, KD and Kyrie could be back. Like I said in the previous video, maybe KD and Kyrie come back. I mean, I haven't heard anything. It hasn't been reported, but what if they do? The Nets made the playoffs without both of them. Imagine having KD and Kyrie back. They could make a really deep playoff run or maybe even get to the championship. I think the hiatus was advantageous for some of the teams who were having injury issues like the 76ers, the Blazers, and the Clippers. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do better because they haven't played basketball in a long time, but at least they're healthy and that gives them a better shot having a fully healthy roster. We also might see a Cinderella story this year, which I might make a video on. If you want to see that, comment down below. But there honestly might be some upsets. I mean, I can't predict because we're not sure exactly who's going to be in the playoffs at this point. It hasn't been set in stone, especially with these new 8 regular season games. But you know, there might be an upset. People have been away from basketball a long time. Teams are just coming back together. You never know. I think teams who had a good foundation, this hiatus, although it doesn't help them, it doesn't really hurt them either. These are teams such as Miami and the Bucks, because they already had great chemistry. They know what kind of roster they have, and they know what kind of system they run. Oh, I also forgot to mention Boston. Boston knows its identity. I think they'll be able to pick right back up where they left off as well. Some teams I think may struggle a little bit, but could be wrong, but may struggle a little bit coming back would be the Rockets, or the Pacers, or even the Mavericks. The whole thing with the Pacers, you know, they've been away for a while. They had a lot of injuries this year. And with Victor Oladipo and his contract situation, how is that gonna pan out? I think they're a well-run franchise. I think they'll figure it out. Just like the other 2 teams I mentioned, they'll all figure it out. They're playoff teams, they have great players, they know what to do. But I think they may have a little bit of a harder time getting back into it rather than, let's say, the Bucks. Now for the Rockets, I do think that the hiatus might have helped them a little bit, but at the same time, they weren't having too many injury issues. It was more so they were building their chemistry, and being away from each other kind of hurts their chemistry. They had recently acquired Robert Covington, who was fitting in really nicely, and things were just rolling on all cylinders. And sometimes when you have momentum going, you want to keep it going. Now, like I said about the Pacers, do I think that they'll get back on track? Sure. Am I 100% positive that they'll struggle? No, but I think they might struggle a little bit more than the other teams just based on their roster. And then for the Mavericks, I do think that this time off has helped them because, you know, Luka's injury, but at the same time, I think they had the same issue as the Rockets with chemistry. Not necessarily an issue, but they were finally getting momentum going and rolling together, especially Porzingis was playing really well at the end of the season, and we saw Luka lighting it up this year. So I just think that they're gonna have a little bit slower time getting back into it, but I think they'll get it going as well. And then we have the season starting December 1st possibly. Do you guys like the season starting later? Although it's not Christmas Day like a lot of people projected, it's still in December. Do you guys like that idea or no? And then one other thing that we have to talk about is the season is projected to end October 12th. Then training camp is set to start November 10th, And then, like I said, the season will start December 1st. That means anybody who makes it to the finals will not really have that much time off. So that's something to consider. Now, they've had a big break in between. We obviously know that. But still, they have to go from the finals to training camp pretty shortly after to a whole nother 82-game season. So will that affect some of the teams? Maybe. That might also affect some free agency decisions. We have to see how that plays out. Free agency will be October 18th, by the way. I cannot wait. And there you have it. And those are my opinions on the new NBA playoff format. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time. Bye.